is the Whispering Voice, and I hope I find you all happy and well. Well, as you may be able to hear, it's raining, and the reason I made this video today was I was sitting here and I could hear the rain pitter patter on the roof, and there's something nice about just sitting here, closing your eyes, just listening to the rain. It's like nature's very own ASMR. You may hear a noise during the recording of this video, as Ellen the cat is moving about. But we've had one or two very nice, hot, sunny days, but didn't last very long, I should say. Very cloudy today. Not cold, but this very fine rain. If the rain was very heavy, you wouldn't be able to hear me whisper. It gets very, very loud. And if it's hailstoning, then I don't bother coming in here. It sounds like they're going to come through the roof. Very nice sound. Another very enjoyable sound which I unconsciously listen to sometimes is the sound of the clock ticking. It's only a small clock, but if you put them together, which I will do at the end of this video, I will fade out with the sound of the rain and the sound of the clock. And if you're falling asleep to this video or just relaxing, you should find it helps, hopefully. There's not much you can do in the garden this weather. I happened to be talking to a chap that lives up the road from me, and he's very much into his gardening, growing vegetables and fruit. And he said he was panicking a bit this year because everything is so late. What with such cold weather, so late in the year, things are late going into the ground. So he expects things to be late, obviously, when they're ready, but he also explained that it could be that we get very expensive vegetables this year due to the difficulty in growing them. It's the end of May, and we haven't had much sunshine or warm weather yet, really. We had a terrible year last year, so he is staying positive and hoping for a much brighter and warmer summer. At least you can go out and do things when it's like that. These cats don't like it when they have to stay in, but the grey cat, Ellen, she'll sit in the rain, not bothered. I may have mentioned it before, and she'll stand there watching the birds and get absolutely soaked, but she knows that she'll be dried when she comes in. I have a towel which I use for her, and she enjoys that, so sometimes I don't dry her to see if it makes a difference in stopping her going out, but it doesn't. In fact, I can see her looking at the back door now and looking at me strangely, thinking, look at him talking to himself again. No, it's another thing I enjoy is when I go camping and you can hear this sound on the tent or on the tarp, depending what I'm using. And when you're dry and warm inside, maybe the door opens slightly with a beautiful view. Unless you're on the mountains, it'll just be cloud. But that's a nice feeling and it's a nice sound. And I have been known to drift off to sleep. In the day, in fact. Not many people about, apart from the very serious walkers. The all-weather walkers. And you get lots of people going into Snowdonia in this sort of weather to test out new equipment, new clothing, waterproof clothing, etc. I shouldn't think there'll be many people on the summit of Snowdon today. Not only would it be wet and quite cold up there, but the clouds, you wouldn't be able to see anything. So you'd have to sit in the cafe at the top and have a nice hot drink and a sandwich and take a mortgage out to pay for it. I tend to take my own, really, but I have been in there. Very strange feeling when you go to the top of a mountain. You don't expect there to be a shop, information centre, a train and a cafe at the very summit. But there is. The only one of its kind in this country. Beautiful, just sitting here listening. Well, I hope you find it beautiful. relaxing. As I say, I was just sitting here, made myself a cup of coffee. Cats were asleep, and I was reading through a magazine. So relaxing, and I thought to myself, I know who would like to listen to this, so I hope you do. One nice thing though, I've noticed, within 2 weeks, everything has turned green. New leaves have grown on the trees, on the hedges, and plants. The grass is growing. So it's beautiful, really. That's a good sign of spring. So I should imagine, after all this rain, if we have any warmth or sunshine, the growth will just absolutely take off. To such an extent where people will be complaining that the grass is growing too quick. So you can't win, really. People ask me, when are you going to actually film camping? Well, when we get decent weather. I'm waiting for this weather. When the weather's nice and when I'm free. But when I go, it could be a spare of the moment thing. But I will take the camera with me. And you can come with me camping for the night. We'll have something to eat, drink. We'll be warm, dry, and I'll keep you safe, and hopefully make it an enjoyable experience, and that you'll be able to see what I see, as if you're there, hopefully. I've noticed a big increase in the birds. I have to feed them twice a day. I put 4 feeders out and fill them with wild bird seed. And the 4 are empty by the end of the day. So I have to fill them twice a day, which I don't mind at all, because at the moment they've got their young, you see. So they're feeding themselves, I expect, on the wild bird seed, and then just collecting the worms or whatever for the chicks. There's a lake or a little pond I pass sometimes on a little walk I do, and there's some young goslings. There's 2 Canadian geese nested on a very small island. It must be only 3 or 4 feet in diameter. But she made the nest and laid the eggs, and she had 3 little baby goslings. And I did film it. And at the end of this video, I'll put the footage I filmed for you to see. And it was on a much better day than today, but at least it'll give you something nice to look at. But of course, if you're using this and just closing your eyes, then it doesn't matter. You'll still be able to hear the rain and the ticking clock. It's something I enjoy anyway, but it's a bit experimental really in putting it on this channel, because maybe what I like you may not like, so I apologise if you don't. But I'm hoping you'll enjoy it. In fact, I'm hoping you can hear me on this. It's getting quite loud now. The birds still flying about in this rain just shows you how hard nature works when they have young to feed. Nothing seems to matter. Nothing seems to get in the way. Sometimes, as humans, we encounter a problem, we stop. But these don't seem to stop. If they encounter a problem, they go around it, or go over it. Very hard working. But to them, that is their life. Being born, staying alive, making young, bringing them up, to carry on the species and to carry on life. That's all we do as well. I often think little silly things when I'm sitting here or when I'm out, as when a bird flies in the rain, does it hurt their eyes? It obviously doesn't, but I wonder if the odd drop does go into their eyes. Silly things like that, really. And of course, the water birds, such as the geese, ducks, anything that can swim, obviously have more oily feathers, and they prune themselves, and that keeps their coat waterproof. You'll see that if you ever go to feed the ducks, you'll notice the water actually beads off their feathers in little droplets. It does so to a certain extent on the wild birds, but not so much. They do have to shelter, because they'll become waterlogged, then they get cold, and then more or less unable to fly, and they won't survive that way. But they know this. It's clever how they know these things. Beautiful sound. Well, this evening I'm making a salad, and I know you may be thinking, on a wet day making a salad, but I enjoy salads any time of the year, and this green lettuce, cherry tomatoes, spring onion, potato salad, which is potatoes in mayonnaise really, and I add some peas into it. I also will be having coleslaw, which is cabbage, carrots in mayonnaise as well. Not very healthy, is it? Crusty bread with butter and some boiled ham. So I'll enjoy that, and I think I'll wash it down with a nice glass of cider. Very refreshing. Only the one glass, mind. Otherwise I'll be more silly than these cats. And then to relax, I may listen to some music with my headphones. Very quietly. Until I feel a tap on my arm. And that's one of these two cats sort of telling me, wake up, I want some food. I don't mind, I love them to bits. A funny thing to say, but they're like, well, my children, I suppose, part of the family. I have a rocking chair in this room, and Ellen jumped on it when I first had it, and of course it rocked, so she jumped off with fright. But curiosity got the better of her, jumped back on it, jumped back off it. So it was like a game to her. I suppose she couldn't make out why it was moving. But now she just jumps up and sort of knows it's going to make some movement, just settles down on it. And I think the motion helps her relax a bit. And she falls asleep quite frequently on it. I'm quite looking forward to this salad now, making myself hungry thinking about it. Oh, sometimes, even though I'm having boiled ham with it, I may have some mackerel in olive oil. I like the peppered mackerel as well, or salmon. We'll see. So I can easily fall asleep to the sound. But as I speak to you now, there's like a flock of seagulls flying over, and of course they're seabirds. Not a lot of people may know this, in Britain anyway. A lot of people think seagulls are a pest because there's so many of them, but they're actually protected. I know if you have fish and chips from one of the seaside towns, here in North Wales. Some people have been dive bombed by seagulls trying to pinch the chips. And they're quite expensive, so a lot of unhappy people. Some actually chase after them. It's not as if you're going to take the chips back off them and eat them anyway. So, I'm sorry if I'm just waffling on here, but I thought, with listening to this sound, I thought, I wonder if you'd like to listen to this, or if you find it relaxing, especially with me waffling on here. So I'll leave you to it now. I'm going to make my salad. So I'll leave you with the sound of the rain and the ticking clock. And if your eyes are open, the video of the Canadian geese with the 3 goslings. So thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.